Like a renegade drifter, losing myself on the open road, running from the pains of a sinner, 'cause ain't no band-aid for a broken soul. No big, I feel like Pac, I shoot a shot, I'm coming in hot.
What's up, everybody? I know I just realized that I had everything doing sound checks. What's up, everybody? Sorry I didn't do a show last night because we had issues of things that were going on. I have a bunch of other stuff we need to talk about tonight. If Mr. Frank G would like an invite, I will send him an invite because this is going to be up his alley right here. So let me look over for Frank G real quick and see if he would like to come on. Hang on one second. I forgot to send him this invite, but I'm going to send him an invite. It should be going through right about now. And if you want to come on, there's a reason why I want to have you come on. What's up, Mr. Jim Bailey? Mr. Bailey himself. I am glad to see you still alive, kicking it and doing well, brother. This truck, well, you all know this truck right here, this one right here. This truck is now belongs to Bottomley Farms. It is now Mitchell Bottomley's truck. It is now his truck. But I do have pictures of this truck. This is a picture back when the old owner had it. It does look sharp. It does look sharp. Yes, sir. I'll give you a few seconds, whatever you need. I just wanted to get the topic out there. Hello, Mr. John Freese. I did send you a link if you want to join in. Maybe you might have some ideas on this conversation, right along with a couple other people I do have sitting in the background already. But I am going to go straight to the topic. Everybody knows Asian Mai. I talk to Asian Mai quite a bit. We're kind of good friends. There's some things going on, and I'm originally from Florida, so I know what's this deal that's going on, and it's kind of a long time coming. It's been needing to get there and happen. And I'm going to play this cut real quick. I'll play a little bit of it, and then I'll jump back to it, and then we'll have a little session in between. So let y'all know. And if you guys can, please share this out to your groups and everything, because this is something we all need to be talking about, something we need to be knowing, because everybody that knows, if you haul into Florida, it pays good going in, but it don't pay nothing coming back out. And that's just the way Florida's been for years. And it's kind of been of a cutthroat type of deal, even with trucking in the state itself. I mean, I couldn't tell you how many times I've been working and doing jobs and had us undercutted, and then someone else come in and get the bid, and then a couple months later they're off the job, and here we are coming back because they couldn't fulfill it. And then they found out the money that they were doing it for, thinking, well, we got more trucks, we can do it for less money, and everybody will make it profitable because we can get the job done quicker. and then they find out all they did was screw themselves, and then they find out their drivers ain't running it because they ain't making enough to pay for the fuel, the tires, the wear and the tear. It's just one big giant little ball here. But I am going to go ahead and play this, and we'll get your comments on it. He's already been over it and talked about it, and this is Asian Mike. He's already talked about it. I'm trying to see if he'll actually pop in tonight. I have sent out a message and everything to him to see if he'll come on and explain a little more on this. But from me being firsthand, I understand where these drivers are coming from, and I know what they're talking about. So, no further ado, here we go.
That South Florida truck drivers are shutting down today, and they just had enough. My name's Alex with Mother Trucker News. Welcome to the Asian My Show. I'm here to find out why they're shutting down.
That's cool. Tamales with chicharrón. Yeah.
They call me the Mother Trucker. Okay. I travel across America. And so I just spread positivity.
Once again, protecting the gas prices and
fuel prices and freight brokers. They're not paying truck drivers right. But if truck drivers aren't blocking the road or doing anything like that, and just being peaceful, do you have a problem with that at all?
No, as long as you stay on the shoulder and you don't blow the truck. I don't think you have the right to protest.
The reason all of us are here today is because we're tired. We're sick and tired of the low rates on the market for the truckers. It's not fair. You gotta go out there and take a cheap freight. The prices of the fuel right now, as high as they are. It's not fair just because you try to come out of Florida and you gotta haul a freight that doesn't pay you enough to pay for all the expenses. You know, we are asking all the brothers and sisters of the road, truckers, to unite themselves with us. To understand we're all on the same page. We spend weeks, months away from our families, trying to provide for them, to give them a better future. And at this point, the trucking industry, we're not getting that.
So, as you all can see, these guys are frustrated. These guys are complaining about freight and brokers. And this is what he's saying. He's complaining because there's cheap freight. Florida don't have any good paying freight. So I'm going to bring, no further ado, I'm going to bring this man on. This is Mr. Frank G. He's with Frank G Trucks. He's also with G3. He also is a broker himself. He also deals with this. He knows the ins and outs and what's going on. And he knows what goes on with Florida and all the other states that he's also getting broker loads from. This man ain't in business if he ain't making money, and he knows he ain't pulling freight for cheap freight or pennies on a dollar, you know. So I'm going to bring him in. No further ado, welcome, Mr. Frank G. How you doing, brother?
Hey, man. I'm late. Today's my birthday, dude. I didn't shave or nothing. Look.
Oh, man. Well, happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
We didn't need you to shave. We just need we need to pick your brain. You know how that goes.
Oh, man, that won't take long. That'll be a short, real easy pick there, man. Easy.
Oh, well, you know how that goes. I mean, but as you sat there and heard that video, and he's sitting there talking about the fuel prices being up and cheap freight coming out of Florida, the only thing that can fix that is what?
I run trucks too. I'm not just a broker. 95% of what we broker at my shop is dedicated. The rates stay the same all the time. The fuel surcharge goes up and down, but the rates pretty much stay the same for at least 1 year, in some cases 2. So You know, there's Joe Wilshire. Hello, Joe.
Yep. Joe says, hello, brothers. And Della says, happy
Della,
birthday.
thank you, honey. Thank you so much. Thank you. Della comes on my show on Tuesday nights quite a bit.
Yeah, she's a good lady. She really is.
I'm gonna lose a few people here and make some people mad, and I'm sorry, but I'm gonna tell you right now. You know, as far as Florida goes specifically, they've got about a 3.5, 4 month window every year that they have produce down there, and the rest of the time, Florida doesn't make anything. There's no manufacturing down there. There never has been. I've been doing my dad's company when I first took it over. You know, he started it in 1963 in Daytona Beach, Florida. So I know a little bit about that market, you know, and if you don't get your money, if you go all the way down to Miami or whatever, delivering a load, and there's a lot of people in Miami and Orlando and all, and they like to eat and they like to buy tennis shoes and they like to buy cars and all that stuff that truck drivers take to them all day, every day. But there's not now, and there never has been anything coming out. It's just not there. There used to be a little bit of a produce market, and you know, if you had the right kind of trailer, you could haul orange juice and stuff like that. All that's imported now. It's not there anymore. So
just like Tropicana is moving. They've done that about 10 years ago.
But do you remember those old carriers? Lefty, those guys down there like Ag Carriers, Central Carriers, you know, all those, they're gone. You know, and what they lived on down there was Tropicana. That was their big thing. Tropicana's gone. I mean, they do it a little bit down there, maybe 1/10 of what they used to do. But you know, there's no freight coming out. So everybody that's been in the business for more than tomatoes out of Ruskin, when they're in season.
Yeah, when they're in season.
When they're in season. When they're not out of season. And when they are in season, it's got to where, you know, the last couple of years, everybody's fighting over those loads so much, they've pushed the rates down on that too. Yeah. But, you know, when you take a load to Miami, Florida, if you're not getting at least, they like to steal too. Keep an eye on your stuff down here.
Yeah, no shit. That's old Glenn. He's saying that down there in Miami.
I mean, I take one look at Glenn and I know he's been missing some wheels and shit when he got down to Miami. I get it.
Yeah, especially on that nice peak that he's got.
You know,
sorry, his little Volvo.
Oh yeah.
John says hi, brothers, and Della says yes. They like to steal.
Yeah. If you go to Miami now, guys, and this is where I say, you know, this is on you too. Okay, if you don't get $4 plus a mile going to Miami, you're just not going to make any money.
Right.
No, freight's coming out cheap. I'm a broker, and I get phone calls all the time. Well, we got this and we got that and we got this and we got that. And I just, on Florida freight, I don't even bid on it. I can't, you know, I can't do it. I can't make that work for us.
Because you used to haul equipment out of there. I mean,
well, the problem is that Florida is a consumer state.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like New York, just like, you know, so many other places that, you know, everybody loves to run to these places because somebody will pay them $3.50, $4 a mile. If you don't get $4 a mile, you're going to starve to death. And guys, this is not a new thing. Okay.
No, it's not.
You know, we're talking like this guy gets on camera like, we're tired of this. We're sick of, dude.
It's decades old.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. It's something decades old that they've been doing this for years. And I've seen the cutthroat because when I was driving truck in Florida, and we used to get ourselves cut. I mean, if we didn't watch and keep up with our accounts, shoot, somebody was in there trying to undercut us. And I mean, there was jobs that we were even doing by the hour on certain things. Back when I was doing transport, I actually was hauling. I had a contract with Publix Foods. I actually had a contract with a couple of the builders that actually built the new stores. So I ended up hauling the sprayers and the carriers around for the high reaches to deliver them. And I actually had to drop my rate by $10 just to keep them because that's how competitive it was. I mean, I was getting $65 an hour port to port, which was good money at the time. But when you got people coming in there cutting you, I mean, just hey man, we could do it for 45, and then you see what they're trying to haul it with, and I'm like, guys, do you not know this is a 40-foot reach? This is not a little 20-foot reach that you can stick on a trailer. And I mean, these guys come in, but the guys that had the contracts that were dealing with the contracts didn't look and see what they were trying to transport with.
They'll transport that stuff on a damn Toyota if they can figure out how to get away with it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, trust me.
Yes,
Trust
they
me.
will.
The
And
problem,
those Florida shippers and brokers down there, Sniper will tell you, Lefty will tell you, they know where they are. They know their market, and they're in business for one thing, and that's to make money. And they don't care if you do or not. They don't care.
nope.
No, that's the reason why it's hard for them. And they're sitting there and saying, hey, let's go union down there. Well, you got CMEX, you got Trimex, you got a couple other companies down there that are all union. You know, when them drivers say, all right, we're not going to drive, there's 1,000 drivers standing outside that gate
Ready.
with their trucks loaded, ready to haul sand and whatever they need in there. Because you know why? Because they're like, hey, if you ain't going to run, we will make your money. And they'll pay us to bring it in.
You're 100%
Yep.
I don't
right.
know how many picket lines that I have crossed myself when CMEX went under strike for a month. We were doing it 3 times a day, bringing sand in, and it was just like, wow. I mean, the guys understood. They knew what we were trying to do. We had to make a living, but, you know, I sat there and watched them yank guys out of trucks because of it.
The thing is that when unions first came into play decades ago, it was because of shit like the Pinkertons, so on and so forth, and you know, all of the businesses that would hire them in order to be the muscle to prevent them from being able to go against them while they lived off cutthroat wages. So
Yeah.
when unions first came into play, they were actually useful and well-meaning. Now, just like any other program that's ever started, the initial intent is good and grand, but as time goes on, those programs become distorted. And at some point in time, greed becomes a factor. And then once greed becomes a factor, then you end up with unions that spend more time protecting those who deserve to get fired than people who, because 90% of your fucking guys, pardon my language, 90% of your guys that work in the unionized industry, most of them, their jobs are never threatened because they always do their jobs.
Yeah.
The only time that the union actually has to come to bat for people, 99% of the time, is people who don't deserve to be able to keep the job in the first place.
Well, you know, unions back in the 40s and 50s were necessary because, you know, people working for nothing, no benefits, no nothing. In 1981, you know, when the trucking, well, all transportation, you know, trucking, airlines, rail, everything was deregulated.
Just saying, when Hoffa came into play,
yeah,
pretty much.
But when deregulation hit, people in the open market quickly found out that when you deregulated everything, the open market could compete with all those things that the unions were providing, and it made them obsolete. And I, you know, and I hate to say that because I think in the 40s and 50s, you know, my dad was a Teamster in the 50s, and it was a great thing. They had benefits. My dad, both of my uncles, you know, they retired with a pension and health insurance and all that. That's all gone now. But you can negotiate for that or get a job good enough to pay for it. So, but going to Florida, you know, there's always that one guy. I saw somebody say, I get great rates going and coming from Florida every week. There's always that one guy that has a relationship or knows somebody there and he gets good freight. But two, what we're talking about tonight with everybody crying about the rates, and I see it, Lefty, just like you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. I see it every day. Well, I'm going to park my truck till it's over. That tells me two things. That guy's trying to run the spot market, one, and two, lucky you did not get whatever. And
I'm
two,
just popping up the comments as we're going through. So go ahead and talk.
That person's trying to run the spot market, and two, they don't understand how fuel surcharge works, or they're not charging for it, and that's their own fault. That's nobody's fault but your own. If you pick up a load and you don't get your money, and you don't get your fuel surcharge, you're giving money, you're leaving it on the table.
Yep.
And I'm going to tell you something. The shippers and brokers will cheerfully keep that money.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and
Oh, yeah.
in a heartbeat. I mean, if you got something you want to sit there and if there was anything, if they really wanted to start on it, and get me wrong, if I'm right or wrong, you can sit there and tell me. But I think if they really want to make a real impact, won't you start hitting these shippers and receivers on your damn, on your fees, your lumper fees? I mean, because there's
Not
some of them
possible.
as high as $600, $700.
They're
Not
crazy.
possible.
They're crazy. But, you know,
They are
everybody-
crazy, but you'll never be able to touch it.
You're right. And here's the deal. I see people getting mad. I sat and watched today a lot. You know, the convoys out in LA, and they were all attending something about the, you know, about the what you call it, the jab or the mandates or whatever like that.
Yeah.
And truck drivers get mad. Truck drivers get mad about this and they get mad about that. But you know what we could all do, what we could all seriously do, if we focused on one thing that we could actually do, like let's say, for instance, boycott Kroger until they get rid of these lumper charges.
Right. Louisville, Kentucky, boy, they're bad. Because they don't even do their job right, and they charge that.
When I was a kid back in the day when we hauled produce, I used to get back there and lump my own shit. And guess what? That was to save $30 or $40. Now it's $500 or $600.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, too bad my old back's wore out. I'd go stand down there and lump freight all day. It pays better than driving.
I mean, yeah,
But-
right. I mean, I sat there and remember when I was hauling. I mean, I was out paying lumper fees of 100 to the, I think the max I paid was 150 back in 2000. That was the max I paid, but I was working for Covenant at the time too. So you know,
I think the most I ever paid, I got out of the game when I decided I was no longer going to do anything involving reefer or dry van. That was, I can't even remember what year it was, but back then it was like $230 for lumper fees at Kroger. And yeah,
we pulled into 1979. I was riding with my dad, and we pulled into the market in Memphis one night, going into those viaducts, you know.
yeah.
And these dudes were jumping up on side of the truck, you know, jumping up on side of the truck. And I just reached down and got the tire bill and started whacking them some bitches out the window. And my dad said, whoa, what are you doing? I said, I'm beating these some bitches off the truck. He said, don't do that. We need them. Don't beat them up. Leave them alone. And then when we got parked, they come in, and they would fight each other over a chance to unload your truck for $40.
yeah.
And that was, you know, that was back then. And here Della just said Louisville charged $800. See, here's the thing about that. In a minute, somebody's going to say, I don't care. The broker or the shipper pays for that. So I don't care. Here's why you should care. Here's why you should care. That's $800 that's floating around out there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yep.
Why in the hell should they give that to a lumper service when that receiver could have ordered it stacked just the way he wanted it if he had done it? Okay. Why should they pay that $800 to a lumper service instead of you? That's why it matters.
Well, now and the thing about Louisville, Kentucky, the thing I hated about the most, I know the owner of that lumper service.
Yeah.
And at one point in time, he actually had bought all of the old trans service trucks, the old Sterlings, and had like 20 or 30 of the old trans service trucks out on the road running Kroger freight. So first of all, he was making money running the Kroger loads to Kroger's. Then second of all, then he was turning around and making money on the lumper service. Now, I'll tell you, the people that run in that lumper service, they're making $19 an hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they'll put 3 or 4 guys on there. So it's like $80 an hour. And they'll take 4 and 5 hours to unload and sort the truck. When
they're doing it by pallet by pallet.
No. They're floating it in order to justify their time, because if they don't float it, if they don't drag their feet on that unloading, separating the stuff, then they don't get paid.
Yeah.
Because they get paid a flat rate per truck. They're only allowed to spend so much time per truck. But if you got like 4 guys on a truck, it's got to be split into 43 pallets. They'll make that thing go 5 hours, even though they could be done in
and
1 hour.
And then you'll sit there another 3 hours waiting on your paperwork when it's all done.
Exactly. And that's how they justify this $800.
Yeah. But that $800, you know, to those people that say, I don't have to pay for it, what do I care? That's your money.
I was going to say, if you stop,
it's floating around out there, and the shipper, because I guarantee you the brokers ain't paying it. They're not paying it.
No, they're not eating it.
If that shipper's willing to put another $800 into that load, why shouldn't that be your money?
Yeah, why shouldn't it? Yeah, why shouldn't it be the driver to go out there and do
99.9% of these people where you say, well, you got to restack the pallets or you got to break the pallets down, you know,
or they won't even give you the option to be allowed to do it.
Yeah, I pulled a load of Starbucks down to old Winn-Dixie warehouse down in New Orleans, and this is just right before Christmas. And I came out there, and I only had like 5 or 6 pallets. I mean, it was like 3,100 pounds, all I had. And the guy came out there and he said, well, it's going to be $350. And I said, I'll do it. I said, for $350, I'll do it. And he said, you can't go on the dock over there.
Yeah.
And I said, but they wanted, and it was like 5 pallets right in the nose of the trailers, all it was. And they charged me $350. And it took me 6 hours from the time I got in the door until I got my paperwork.
Yeah, and it's just like John says. I had 2 droppers, and the other day, one charged me $360, and the other one charged me $280 for one load to be dropped.
Yeah.
And then Michael says lumper fees was $5,000 in 2 days in the dock. In one dock, it was over $5,000.
If these receivers, if these people buying this product, they have all the power. Okay.
Yeah.
If they're buying, let's say Starbucks, for instance, when they place their order with Starbucks, if they say, we want this many of this product on this pallet and we want it stacked like that. Otherwise, sell your shit to somebody else. I promise you it would show up stacked that way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, in a heartbeat.
Back in the day when I worked in I used to work for a company called Dixie Warehouse and Cartage out there in Louisville.
Yeah.
And I was in the union. I was a forklift driver, and I would turn around and I'd pull all the orders and take them to the prospective trucks. And those trucks were loaded front to back, hand stacked, wall to wall, roof to ceiling, bagged. And they would get completely sealed up. Those guys actually worked for their money. I was just a forklift driver and brought it to the door.
Yeah.
And they were doing all the work. Now, if it's hand stacked like that, I can see where it would take time to unstack it, because they'd put 2 guys in a truck and it'd still take them, 2-3 hours to get all that done. And then when it's coming off the truck, it's all got to be palletized. So if it goes in and comes out non-palletized product, okay, I can see some justification in that. But when you go in there with palletized product, it's all the same product, and yet it takes them 4 hours to do like 8 pallets. It's like, all you did was tag it, label it, and put it in a location. But they won't let you go until it's all been allocated to a location.
Yep.
And checked and rechecked and the paper signed off, and then you might get your paperwork.
Yeah.
But that's why I wonder what some of these guys in our business are thinking. These, for the last 2 years, these shippers and brokers, they've had a rough time, dude, because the rates have been up there. And I kept saying, and Charles, I know you watch my show, I say it every single week. I say it. Do not let these guys push these rates back now, because they will.
Oh,
they
yeah.
will. They've had
they're going to try their hardest because they want to try to make that money.
Mega brokers like XPO and TQL and CH Robinson, they meet with each other and talk about it. They train these 26-year-olds on how to do it. They're good at pushing the rate down. Now, I tell you what, they're pushing it down to the truckers out there, but their rates to the shippers are staying the same.
Right.
It's just that their margins are getting bigger.
Right.
These
Right.
guys out there running the low boards, these guys out there that are playing on that and think they're smart and think they're cool. Now, this time of year when it starts to dip, they're the ones screaming and crying.
Yeah.
Now,
when it starts dipping down because there's so much of it and there's so many of them out there willing to run now.
Now, anybody who's in the trucking industry who also happens to have a Facebook account has probably at one point in time come across a little craphead by the name of Alfred Smith.
Oh, fuck.
Sorry. No, you're good. You're good.
My bad.
This guy is the epitome of despicable when it comes to freight brokerage.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this dude will try to get a team to run from LA to Connecticut for $6,200.
Yeah.
With a damn forklift in the truck that you have to use for 3 stops and leave the forklift at the last stop. $6,200.
Yeah.
I was like, have you lost your ever-loving mind? And these brokers around here, in the last couple of weeks, the freight rates have dipped a little bit because, they're trying to push the rates down despite the fact of our fuel cost has gone up, insurance has gone through the roof. Lord knows our freaking maintenance costs have gone up with it. The amount of time it takes to get any kind of maintenance done. I blew a tire the other day. I had the tire with me, and they told me it would be later that night before they could even look at it. And I'm like, it's 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
We got a heavy workload. It's a tire. It's on the outside drive. I can get a little hole in the wall dude to show up with a 4-wheeler. He could turn around and pop that thing off the rim, pop it on the rim, air it up, and never uninstall a bolt.
Yeah.
And
if you need a part, Sniper, if you need a part, good luck.
Yeah, God knows what day it'll be.
Yeah. And I can tell you this firsthand. I sat there with Rob Hallahan. All right. We were sitting there at Matt's. One of his trucks had a flat. He sat there and had someone call somebody from a tire guy that they knew that was somewhat in the area to be able to come there and change the tire out. When he got done changing the tire, the guy got there like at 10 o'clock. When everything was said and done, me and Rob were still standing out there talking. It was 3 o'clock when the man handed him his bill for that tire.
Yeah.
And said, here you go. I'm done. 3 o'clock in the morning.
I tried to order some
tires.
Tried to order some low pro 24/5 tires the other day.
Uh-huh.
2 of my tire guys, I have 3. 2 of my tire guys said, yeah, nobody's making them right now except Continental, and they're $650 a piece for a fucking drive tire.
Because nobody can afford to make them.
I mean, they just plain said no. So you either got to go to tall rubber or change over.
Change over. Yeah. It's just like we were told by our tire guys that we deal with, which is Best One out of Kingsport, but they're all over. They're in several different states, but they were telling us, hey, these tires, you ain't gonna be able to get them. No. Even though I tried to get 2 from my truck, they couldn't get them. They had to get them out of Kentucky. But then the price went up on them. What I paid for them last year,
they're damn near doubled in a year.
Yeah. In a year, they doubled. Yeah.
But going back to these rates, Charles, I mean, if you go to Florida, there's nothing there. The only shit they got down there is imports coming in, and if you're not a tin can hauler, you're not in that game. Okay. No. And then during produce season, if you got a reefer, or a vented van, you can get $3 or $4 a mile coming out of there, unless you know somebody in that very, very, very small, little, tiny manufacturing sector that they got down there, which is tiny. Yeah. Unless you know somebody, you're going to come out of there for $1 or less.
Mm-hmm.
I picked up an account. I'll tell you guys.
I got a guy now that he works for Rosedale, and when they send him to Florida and he goes to Tampa or Lakeland, he goes in and drops. That's cheaper for them to pay him to deadhead back to Dalton, Georgia, than it is for him to snag a load.
I I picked up an account about a month ago, and it's a guy that knows my brother and all that stuff. It's the only reason I've got it. It's out of Waycross, Georgia, and they do peanuts and peanut butter during the season.
All good peanut company.
Let me tell you something. I went online just on my page, and I said, well, I got a new account the other day, peanuts out of Waycross. I had 12 phone calls. How much are you going to pay on those? How much are you going to pay? Oh, I want as many as you got. What lanes are you going to have? What lanes? These are all guys that run into Florida, and they're sitting there looking for something to get back out because it's actually cheaper. And you guys back me up on this or not? It's actually cheaper to deadhead out of Miami back to South Georgia, maybe even Atlanta, and pick up a load there than it is to haul that $1 a mile freight coming back out.
Yep, it doesn't even cover the fuel.
It doesn't even cover anything.
You eat more fuel than what you a lot of times what I do is, like, I'm in heavy haul. I run 6-axle. We deadhead an average of 400 to 500 miles all the damn time.
Yeah, but see, you guys are in a different game, and I love that game. I mean,
I love that game too.
You don't even look at deadhead the same way the van guys and the reefer guys do. You don't even see it. All you guys do, you guys want to know what's the check at the end of the week, what's the check at the end of the hour.
But see, I like to do the math on it. So I look at what's paying in Miami, what's paying in Tampa, what's paying in Jacksonville, what's paying in Georgia. Now, I'm not going to take a load in Miami going to like Indiana that's paying like $2 a mile when I can deadhead up to the Georgia line, turn around and pick up an excavator or something like that. And then next thing you know, I'm making $7 or $8 a mile.
That's what I said. You're
going to the same damn place.
You're cheaper just to come on out of there.
So I look at what the fuel's going to cost me. I'm going to eat $100 worth of fuel to deadhead, making, $6, $7, 7 miles per gallon empty to get the hell out of there. I might eat $100, but I might gain a $1,500 to $1,800 boost.
But if you got your $4.50 or $5 a mile going down, you don't care.
Right.
It's paid for. That's how you pay for that.
Well, California, Oregon, Washington, Maine, Florida, they're all dead consumer areas.
Yeah.
Freight going in pays beautiful.
Yeah.
Because they know you're going to deadhead to get the hell out of there.
That's right.
And so when a lot of people see this freight, they're like, oh, well, it pays good going in. Why can't it pay good going out? Because there ain't nothing there to take out.
There's nothing there.
Yeah.
They're paying you to leave.
Yeah.
All right. Kind of a twisted philosophy, a little bit sick in the head, but very, very true. An old philosophy is you don't pay a hooker to sleep with you. You pay her to leave when you're done. It's the same way in trucking.
Yeah.
When it comes to these dead states, they're not paying you to bring the freight. They're paying you to get the hell out when you're done.
That's correct.
And if
They
you
don't want to keep you there because you're going to take up too much time and space.
If you use that philosophy in your trucking, you'd actually be a lot happier. Then at the same time, you've also got all the people that are in the trucking industry that are, trying to be nearer to their families, get better home time, so on and so forth. Well, 90% of the time, if not more, you're going to have a bunch of toilet bowl loads because you're trying to stay close to home, and they get to the point where they see you all the time. They know. So then they're like, well, sorry, man, it's only paying this much. But you're trying to stay close to home. The reason OTR drivers get paid what they get paid is because they're away from home. You get paid for punishing yourself.
You get guys that are like Charles, and I know some of these guys that are out there. Sparky Anderson, Joe Denny. Those guys have been doing this so long that the brokers call them. They don't call the brokers. The brokers call them. And they set their own rates. You used to call them wildcatters, used to call them gypsy truckers, a whole bunch of different names. But there's a handful of guys still out there playing that game that are good at it. The rest of these new guys, they're just plain not good at it, and they're mad. And right now, they're paying double what a tire is worth. We just covered that. They're paying double what they spent in fuel last year. They're paying double for a truck.
And double on the insurance.
Yeah, they're paying double on their insurance, and they're sitting there looking around going, I just parked this thing. You know, they don't know how this thing works. They don't understand, all this stuff that we've been in it 30 years. We're sitting here talking about it. And that's why I go live every Tuesday night and I talk about this stuff. And I go, and tomorrow night, Tuesday night, I'll do the same thing. I'll talk about here's what you need to do. Here's what you need to do. And I'll get on Facebook the next day and there'll still be one of those guys. And I'll see him sitting there going, well, I guess I'll just park my truck because this some bitch here won't pay me but $1.
Oh, no. I've got one even better than that. I got a guy who lives in Florida. I ain't going to say who he works for or nothing like that. Got a guy who lives in Florida. Says he won't go to California unless it pays $10,000 to $12,000. I'm like, okay, so you're guaranteeing you're not going to Florida. He goes, I feel the same way about the East Coast. Okay, so you're guaranteeing you're not running the East Coast. Yep. I said, where's your I won'ts? When do they become a little too ridiculous for the industry? Because the fact is that anybody who plays this game and plays this game right knows you use the entire nation in a spot market. You go where the work is when the work is there, and when the work is no longer there, then you go elsewhere.
Yeah, and you make sure you plan ahead because you know when it's going to shift. You plan ahead to be able to hit that next one and not lose a beat.
I'm not talking out of school because he puts it right on Facebook, so I'm not saying anything. Joe Denny was in Boston, Massachusetts last week.
Joe Denny.
You know where he is today? Daytona, California. And I promise you that Joe Denny made $3.50 a mile to his truck all day long coming and going. I guarantee he did.
Yeah.
But that's a different guy. He's a different guy. He knows what he's doing. He
knows his business.
But he's also a reefer runner too.
Yeah. So
he's got his hands into that and he's been in it a long time.
But
you look at Bottomley. You look at Mitchell Bottomley Farms. All right. They run from North Carolina to California and back. They run out there and drop produce and they come back and grab stuff coming back this way. The man's got his hands into where it needs to be, and the man makes money.
Yeah.
If not, the man wouldn't be in business, and he wouldn't have the farms that he has over there in North Carolina. He's huge. Just nobody really paid attention to him until he decided to hit the show circuit.
Yeah.
When he hit the show circuit, then everybody's like, well, what's Bottomley Farms? I can count in a day out here on 81. I can count in a day that run down 81 down to 40. I could probably guarantee you 30 trucks or 40 trucks in a day going and coming. And they all say Bottomley Farms. Bottomley Farms. They run right up 77, 81 to 40 out to California.
Well, and I tell you what, a lot of people don't like all the foreigners in the industry. And granted, there's some foreigners that I'm not a fan of, but their business model pisses me off because it works. These guys will turn around and run 3 to a truck, East Coast to West Coast, all month long. Ain't nobody getting tired. Ain't nobody getting fatigued. But they got 3 fellers stuffed in that damn truck, and they're just fucking turning them over, back and forth, back and forth. They'll turn around and knock out 2, sometimes even 3 round trips, just nailing it. And they're making money hand over fist. I have no idea what the drivers are getting paid. I know if I had 3 people in my truck, I better be getting paid really well.
Yeah.
I hate the fact that business model works, but they make a killing at it.
Well, there's 2 ways to make money in trucking. It's real simple. You can either drive 1,000 miles for $2 a mile or 2,000 miles for $1 a mile. At some point with those 3 guys in that truck, their fixed cost per the month catches up to them.
Right.
If they're running, let's say their fixed cost, let's say it takes 5,000 miles to cover their fixed cost for the month. Okay. They do that in a week.
Right.
So what they got for the whole rest of the month is all they got to pay for the whole rest of the month, fuel and driver. Everything else is paid for.
Exactly.
That's how they make money. Now, wear and tear on the truck is a whole different animal. That's a whole different story. Yes, you are going to wear that machine out. And in the meantime, if hopefully you're going to keep the oil changed and burn up some tires, but you're going to wear that truck out in 3 years. But how many trucks, when you go on like Truck Market and all that stuff, how many trucks do you see out there that are 3 years old with 500,000 and 600,000 miles on?
Exactly.
Quite a few.
Yeah. Exactly. Because they've completely dogged them out.
Yeah.
Because they don't shut down until they break.
Yeah.
Then they fix them and then they don't shut down until they break. I hate the fact that the business model works because they'll buy these throwaway trucks. They'll buy these damn T680s and T660s and Freightliner Cascadias, and they'll run these pitch away trucks, Tupperware Bandits, and they will run them up and down the road till they break, fix them, run them till they break, until they can't fix them no more. They'll throw it away and turn around and buy another one and do it again.
But for 3 weeks out of the month, they're running just for variable cost, whatever that is.
Right.
What that is fuel and driver. Everything else, they already paid for it.
Yes.
It's already gone.
They really make money hand over fist, and it drives me nuts. Yeah. And to be honest, I had talked to one guy one time, Asian dude, and he said, "You know why you see 4 or 5 families stuffed into one house?" He goes, "Because we all pool together." He goes, "Everybody dumps 100% of everything into the house till it's paid for. As soon as it's paid for, one owner uses the equity in that home to take out a loan to help buy the next house. And then 4 of the families move out, 1 stay in. Then those 4 families plus the guy here, they all invest into that house until it's paid for. And then they do that until all 5 families have their own house bought and paid for."
Yep.
It's got to take some incredible discipline to do that.
That's the reason why your makers. That's the reason why your makers ended up doing teams.
It takes more than that with me, because I couldn't stand to have a midget wrestler in the truck with me when I was.
Quit talking about your wife like that, man. That's terrible.
Careful, she can hear us.
Yeah.
Be quiet.
She heard.
Well, you did it. I didn't.
Yeah.
But and Jesse, eat one. That's all I got to say. Jesse, eat one.
Yeah.
He's sending me text messages talking behind the show.
Oh, is he? Well, tell him to pop himself up in the show, and then he can say all he wants.
Let's see. Yeah, he only made one comment.
Well, anyway, back to rates, guys. You know, and like I said, I always make somebody mad, and I always lose a few when I say it. But you know, you still got people out there that are saying, "Well, these brokers need to be transparent." The law's already on the books. It's been there for years. It's been there for years. But most brokers put a little clause in their contract that say you don't care what they make. You don't want to see it. So once you sign that contract, they got nothing to fall back on. Here's the deal. If you want to come audit me real bad, that bad, don't sign that.
Right.
Pretty simple. If you don't want to haul freight for $2 a mile, don't haul it. Everybody panics, or they get emotional, they get mad, they get upset. You know, this is not what this business isn't like that. It is not an emotional business. It's not.
No. It's a money game. And you got to know, you got to be on your game to make the money.
It's numbers and sit. It's like, as Sniper was just saying, I do my calculation. Make good decisions, act on. And these guys are getting all in panic. Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you, you're better off sometimes just to go ahead and sit overnight somewhere and wait till the next morning to get a better load. You're better off.
Yeah.
You know, go somewhere and eat a good meal. You know, get you a hot shower, watch some TV, whatever. You know, I tell you what, if you don't have an APU and you got to idle your truck if it's cold, get a motel room. It's cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on where you're at, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I tell you what, my son's got a combine in Colorado later this year, and the hotel rates almost $200 a night.
Yeah, that's high.
Well, I mean, it's just like the truck shows, shoot, even the cheapest hotel that we had there was $150 to $160 a night.
Yeah, and ordinarily those rooms are like $48.
Yeah,
Yeah.
normally.
Well, the truck show, I only live 2 hours away, so I just drive back and forth.
Yeah, I know, and you didn't even hang around long
I was
enough.
only there. I was
know how
only
you are.
there on Friday because I had somewhere I had to be Saturday. It was already scheduled like months ago, but
Yeah.
and I wasn't going to go at all. But I wanted to try to get up there. I hadn't been in about 5 or 6 years, so I'm sorry. I apologize. I was only
No,
there
you're good.
a day.
I just got to give you a hard time,
Oh, I know.
'cause I was sitting there hanging out with G and them and talking to them and FaceTiming with Dennis here with the G's. And we were sitting there talking about different things that was going on, and him sitting there doing his deal with Trucker Tools and talking about. He goes, best way to do it is look at your own freight, get your own bids, quit trying to do it on different things. He goes,
I didn't even have time to see Gerald. I saw Jacinda and I saw a couple more, but I didn't even see Gerald that day all day.
Really? Yeah, he was busy. He was hopping all over the place. I caught him for about 10 minutes and then caught him there at Trucker Tools, and I got lucky with that. But
he stops through, I'm in the middle of everything. He'll stop through here if he's coming or going, if he's got some time, and we'll go grab something to eat and hang out for a little while or something like that. But he's been so busy. And now for the last, I don't know what, 48, 50 days, he's been on that convoy deal. So
yeah. And he actually got to go home for, what was it, 3 days, 4 days, and then he's back out gone. He's already back towards California again.
He's in California. Yeah, and he'll I don't know, man.
He's busy because that's something that he's passionate about.
Very, big time.
Yeah.
So I talk to him on the phone a couple times a week, and that's about it. But when they came here, when the convoy came here, I had something going on that night, and I saw him on on Facebook, and I thought, well, I'll just run up there and get a hug from Mary and say hello and everything. But I kept watching, and they were so busy. I said, you know what? He doesn't have time to mess around. I'll catch him next.
Yeah, and then they do. They get really, really busy, just like at the truck show. I mean, if you can get him for 10 minutes, I mean, it was bad enough that he had to rent a scooter. He was like, man, I just can't keep walking. It's killing me.
Yeah.
And I did. I sat there and I was there from Tuesday to Sunday morning. And I went through that building nonstop with it open and with it not open to the public, going in there, meeting up with drivers, trying to get interviews, trying to do other stuff. I still got to get with John Jakes. He still owes me one. I got to pick on him, though. Him and Miss Kim Grimm, which is now Miss Kim Jakes.
Cool.
But they're good people, really, really good people. I actually went out to dinner with them and sat there and got to talk to them and get to know the real John and real Kim. And their characters, they definitely are made for each other. That is no lie. No lie. They are made for each other. But, and it was just, my thing was I had to go because one of my sponsors was already there, which was Bull Snot. Mr. Vin Brown, Vinny, he was there. And then I also had to go because of the nonprofit, which was Shelley, and I had to go up there and deal with some things with them and get an interview with her and go over some things, which there might be some other stuff that's coming out in the projects, things that I've been working on. It's just been a bunch of phone calls nonstop ever since. And I'm like, wow, I didn't know this stuff was really going to be cranking like it did. But when you go to Matt's, you're going to the top of the line of everything. You can
see everybody you want to if you have time. I mean, if you can walk that far, people don't think about that. I haven't been up there in about 5 years, and I told Frank Jr., he went with me, and he's a big ass football player looking guy. Yeah. I turned around and looked at him. I said, I don't think I've walked this far in like 8 years. He said, no, you walked this far 5 years ago when we came to this. I said, well, okay,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when you walk from the east wing, the west wing, and then go back south and then north, I mean, I guarantee you I probably walked 30, 35 miles during that week.
And old as I am, Charles, old as I am, by the time I got parked and made it to the door, I needed a nap. I didn't even get in the building good. I was like, damn, here we go, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I had full energy the first 2 days. After I got done walking, it was like,
oh,
all right, do we got to do this again? And it's like, hey, we're going to, all right, I got to go over here and meet these people. And I got to meet these people. And then I got to get talking about setting stuff up here. And then, like I did, I got with Asian Mai. Me and Asian Mai, we go back a little ways. And we're both Florida boys. And I have permission to use his stuff because he tells me, hey, whatever you need to use, you want to use for content, use it. If it helps out, use it. And I do. And I do use it. And I'm just glad he lets me be able to use his information because some of it he uses that he gets. I have other stuff that goes with it like this. And that's why I wanted to bring in the broker part of it because a lot of the first thing that come out of his mouth was rates weren't paying and it's because of brokers. And it's not because of brokers. I said, I lived in Florida and I've lived there for years. I know what it is. It ain't brokers. It's the rates. And nobody pays going out because there's nothing to take out unless you're in heavy equipment or produce. Unless you can get a deal with side.
We started brokering freight in right at 1990. And, you know, there was no internet to speak of then. I mean, you know, you just had to use your book and know the people you knew. So there was no DAT. There was no factoring. If you didn't have the money, you were not in business. You couldn't be in business. You had to pay your bills. And, you know, it was a whole different animal back then, you know, a whole different thing. And we still try in my shop, we still try to stay with those old school, you know, philosophies and those old school theories and stuff like that. And, you know, the industry's just, I mean, it's changed so much now. You get factoring, if you can afford to bond, if you got halfway decent credit, you know, so you got 1,000 people a week out there trying to get into this business because they think they can get rich quick and do it from home.
No,
it doesn't work that way.
No.
You know, it doesn't work that way. So, you know, I like I say, I lose a few people and people get mad when I tell them I have never in all these years, okay, ever, not one time, not once. I wish I could. I've never called a carrier and said, I got a load going from New York City. It's got from Nashville to New York City. It's got 3 drops on it: Manhattan, Bronx, and Brooklyn. It picks up here in Nashville. Weighs 44,000 pounds. Okay, and you are going to haul that load for me, and you are going to do it for $1.75 a mile, $50 a drop. I have never done that. I would like to try it just for a week. You know, force people to haul up. So all these drivers out there talking about, yeah, he's a broker, are screwing me. We don't make the rates, boys. You do. You're the guys making the rates. Your enemy is the guy that'll go in there and say, yeah, hell, I'll take it. It's $2 a mile, but it'll get me home. That's your enemy, not me. I'm not the bad guy. I've never forced anybody to haul a load. I've never forced anybody to haul a load.
The shipper sets the rate, or the receiver sets it, depending on if it's coming or going.
Yeah,
and they're the ones that set it, and then the driver goes, all right, this is what I'm going to do it for. All right, this is what you're going to do it for.
Yeah.
If you don't, someone else goes, hey, I can do it for a little bit cheaper. All right, well then, that guy just cut your throat because he's willing to take it a little cheaper because he's going home, or if he's going in that area because
they do it all day long, every day, and the brokers let them do it.
Yeah.
You know, I've had them call me. I can't even tell you how many times. I saw you had a load going to Chicago a few minutes ago. Yeah, we got that covered, man. But thanks for calling. And by the way, we get 2 or 3 of those weeks, so give me a call. Well, wait a minute, what'd you pay that guy? And I go, well, what difference does it make?
Yeah, it's already been done.
So I'll do it cheaper. And I go, I already booked the load. I'm not taking it away from that guy. Well, you're stupid then because I can do it cheaper. That's what you get. Those are the people that are in our business.
And here's the thing, and all they want you to do is, hey, I can do it cheaper. All right, you can do it cheaper. But I'm not going to cut the man's throat that I just made the deal with because that driver trusts me and I want him back for repeat business.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
they'll
want
call me
you here to
stupid.
sit there and cut my
You know,
throat.
I'm
and
stupid
piss
and
him
I'm
off
the
and have me
asshole
leave.
because I won't screw that guy. I'm the
Yeah.
asshole, you know.
But see, that's the way it should be. You should not have to sit there and cut that guy's throat just for so someone else that you don't deal with to come in and say, "Hey, I can do it for $100 less or $500 less." You cut his throat, and then he's going to look at you and go, "Man, if you can cut my throat now, that means you can cut my throat later."
And
I
I've
don't
had it
want
happen to
deal with
me
it.
on the truck side. We used to pick up a load in northern Wisconsin every Friday, bring it back down to Bowling Green every Friday. We were there, picked it up, usually delivered it, even though it was 860 miles, you know, usually delivered it that night, you know, dropped the trailer in there. And the broker called me after about 9 months. He called me one day. He goes, we're gonna have to cut your rate on that. I go, wait a minute. Been doing it for 9 months, you know, perfect service, all is good. Yeah, I found somebody to do it cheaper.
Yeah. And it's just like this Facebook user says, it's the customer that doesn't want to pay.
Yeah.
Because they can always find, if they can find someone else that can cut your throat, they'll do it. Because
Dude, I'm a broker.
They're saving money.
I'm a broker, and I would love to tell you it's all the customer's fault. But here's a news flash for you. When you quote your rates as a broker or a carrier to a customer, they're usually good for a minimum of 90 days. 90 days. So if somebody's cutting rates or playing games with rates, usually it's not the customer. Because I guarantee you, if a broker makes an extra $100 on a load off a carrier, he doesn't call the customer and go, I made an extra 100, I'm going to send it back to you. They're not doing that.
No, if they make an extra $100, they're keeping it in their pocket. They're not going to tell you.
Yeah, they're not calling their customer back going, yeah, I'm going to send you an extra 100. They're not doing that, guys.
No.
That ain't happening.
No.
That ain't happening.
And they won't do that because that just, they wouldn't be in business.
No. I mean, now, if one of my customers sees this now, he's going to call me tonight and go, you son of a bitch. How many times? Yeah. Oh, no, not me, dude. No.
Yeah. You know, and that's just the way they're going to look at it.
Yeah.
But you know.
Dudes, if you're out there playing the spot market, get smart, people. Use your noggin. If you're going to do it, stay in the Midwest where you can make some money. You know, stay there. Stay off the East Coast, stay out of Florida, stay out of you know, Colorado and the Northwest, stay out of there. Stay in the Midwest where you can make a little bit of money and use your head. Hold your ground on your rates. Just do that. Just do it, people. You know, if you don't have relationships and you don't have your own customers and you're just out there playing the spot market, good luck.
Yeah. Well, that Facebook user, it's actually Dutch. You don't know why Facebook is not putting him up there, which sometimes Facebook does that every now and then. They won't. It's something with Facebook. But yeah, Dutch, I mean, sometimes it's them that don't want to pay. Some of them, hey, this is what we're paying on this rate, on this load, and that's what you're going to take it as, or we'll get someone else, which I can understand that puts you in a bind because then you're like, well, I'm already here. Why am I going to put someone else?
You know, then you got these customers out there and they'll throw their loads out to 20 brokers. And whoever gets it first for the cheapest rate, that's the one that gets it. I don't deal with people like that. I don't have time. You know, I don't want to do business with people like that. I don't have to. So, you know, I don't do it. But you'll see a lot of people ask a question. Well, how come I see the same load on there by 3 different brokers and 3 different rates? That's why. They're fighting, and they're all fighting over one truck. You know, you got all these guys, and they're all fighting for you. They're fighting for your truck. They just want it cheap.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And it's just like I sat there. I had a friend of mine. His neighbor just moved in. All right, they hired a broker. He moved out of Arizona. All right, to have his stuff brought here to Tennessee. He hired a broker out of Miami. Well, the broker got somebody out of New York, supposed to be a truck company and everything, got him brokered, paid whatever it was to get it shipped. Come to find out, that guy that done it, that did the work, that got the work from that broker. Oh, yeah, I got tractor trailers, man. We're going to load this stuff up. So they went out there and loaded this stuff up. Come to find out, they loaded it up in U-Hauls didn't have any trucks. They loaded it up in U-Hauls, and then it took him 2 months to get his stuff out here. And I'm like, it took you that long? And he goes, yeah. And then the truck had a leak in it, and it sat there and ended up ruining half my stuff. He goes,
Jesus.
He goes, discovered, sat there and paid me back on the truck lease through the broker. And then he goes, but we didn't get covered on the damages because the guy's not really a trucking company. So, because they even went as far as calling the FMCSA and see if they can report him. And the guy's, it's just a name. And he's hooked up with them as a broker, but because he's using smaller trucks, he don't have to have DOT numbers and run under the FMCSA rules because it's a U-Haul. It's stuff like that is where you get people that are out to screw you. And those are the ones that are taking some of these jobs from you guys that are out here trying to work and make a living and run it. And it's them that are cutting your throat because they're trying to get the same work you are, but they're not willing to go get the license, go get the DOT numbers and the right insurance and stuff to do this. They're just there to cut
carriers keep hauling that shit. I don't get it. Lefty, I don't get it. I mean, if something happens, anything at all happens, let's say, for instance, you have a claim or a breakdown or you're a day late, you have to reschedule, anything like that. Not to mention, if they just plain old decide not to pay you, I see it every day, then you have no recourse. You got nowhere to go.
No.
They don't exist. They're not there. So who are you going to sue? I mean, nobody. Whose bond are you going to file on? Nobody. What customer are you going to call? You're not going to call anybody because you don't know who it is. You don't even know who the real customer is.
Yeah.
But these people keep. That's why I say, I had this whole show about it 2 weeks ago about people that operate out of panic and they get upset and nervous. Well, I got to move this truck. No, you don't. Sometimes you're just better off just to sit there a little bit and wait and do the right thing. Okay.
And go through all your different outlets to go look and see what you can find.
Exactly.
Instead of sitting there looking at one and going, all right, well, that's the best I can do. I guess I'm gonna take it. No, guys.
The driver's going to get mad and he's going to quit. Well, shit. If that's all it takes to make them mad and they're going to quit, they're going to anyway. I mean,
they're going to. If it ain't on this load, it'll be on the next.
It'll be on the next one. So do what you got to do. But make good decisions, people. Hold your rates. Hold your rates. Hold your fuel surcharge. Don't go to shippers that just you see it on even Facebook every day. Every time I go here, I wound up sitting in here for 2 days. Why did you go back?
Yeah.
Whose fault is it now?
If unless you're a company driver and you had to go back because the company told you had to go back because that was the load you're taking.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why you go back. Other than that, if you're the owner of it, you're like, nah, we're not doing this.
No.
I got screwed once. I'm not going to get screwed twice. Justin says the sad thing about trucking is it's a cutthroat business.
Buddy, it is. It is. But you know what, Justin? It doesn't have to be as much of a cutthroat business if you have relationships with people. I mean, if you're going to run the broker boards, if you don't have your own, your own customers to rely on, okay, you're not the only one. But use the exact same brokers and haul the same loads and build relationships so they trust you and you trust them. And I guarantee you'll make more money and you'll be happy over time if you do that. I mean, stay away from the cutthroats. TQL calls my office 3 or 4 times a week wanting to know if they can help me move my freight. That's called double
get it at your rate and then turn around and cut it down even lower and then give it to the driver and then go, oh, look, I got a good deal.
I got a good deal for you, buddy.
Their drivers that they know are suckers that they're using. And
and these drivers use them because they have next day pay or because they have this or because they have that, or they'll give them in advance or some bullshit like that. But the bottom line is if these people give them their freight to move for them, the truck winds up with about 35 or 40% of the revenue, and that's it.
Yeah.
They get all the rest. You're running for nothing.
And they're not going to share it with you. Guaranteed they're not going to share it with you.
No, they're not going to call and give it back to you because they feel sorry for you. No, they're not. Build relationships. Know your business. There's Roger McDuck.
Yeah,
What's up, Roger?
Mr. McDuck. Good evening, sir. How are you? All right. And Dutch says, like the one of the loads that I'm under now was supposed to be delivered last week, but I broke down in transit. They couldn't reschedule it until the 18th. I dropped it at our yard in Georgia and picked up an empty so I could make money.
You're lucky you had a place to pick up a trailer and go make money. A lot of guys don't.
Yeah. And
A
you
lot of
got
guys
lucky.
would just be stuck. They'd just
Yeah,
be
a
hung.
lot of them would be.
So good.
Yeah, they'd be sitting there with a truck while it's still hooked because a lot of them would tell them, you're not unhooking from that load. You're loaded.
No.
You're sticking with it. Yeah.
That's your load. You should have made it on time.
Yep. And a lot of your megas will do that to you in a heartbeat.
Oh,
and
yeah.
make you sit at it.
You know, that happened to Bonnie White Magpie a couple of weeks ago. She went up to Wisconsin. And when the weather was bad, she was 1 hour late, and they parked her ass out there for 4 days. Well, she's out of Georgia. She's in Wisconsin. There's nobody to back her up, nobody to cover. She spent 4 days sitting in a truck stop waiting, you know, and I preach to people all the time that they ought to be making $1,200 to $1,500 minimum a day with their truck. How much is that? 1,500 times 4. That's $6,000 that she sat in some parking lot and just watched it go away.
Yeah, pretty much. But whatever you were going to make for a profit will go away. But you know, I can understand if there's an accident that held you up, because we know truck accidents can't hold people up for hours. And we also know weather can do it too. We can understand that. But a lot of times I can understand, and that's the reason why they say when you do your day planning, try to figure out an out. When you start seeing something like that, start planning another way out.
Exactly.
They're going, well, the GPS says I got to go this way. I need to stay on this GPS. No, you can pull out a map book and go, all right, I can take this route over to here, and I can get back on and get moving. And that's the way it's got. You're going to have to do it. Justice says, on my single trip loads, I get 22 a ton. And the runs that I do, 4 to 5 runs a night, I get $7 to $11 a ton pulling an end up. Yep.
Justin, I'm trying to do the math. Well, so what kind of revenue is that per day? What is your truck doing? Revenue. I'm not trying to mind your business. I'm just trying to bring it into the conversation. What kind of revenue are you doing per day, per night? Just when you get
because I get $22 a ton.
Yeah.
And the runs that I do are 4 to 5 runs a night. I get $7 to $11 a ton pulling an end up. So if you're getting, what are you getting? $22 a ton.
Yeah, because I'm confused.
That throws you off a little bit, because if you're getting $7 to $11 a ton pulling the end up, but if you're hauling, what are you pulling now? The long wagon or the rock bucket? Because that's what I'm trying to figure out there too, because it kind of threw both of them in there at the same time without a split.
Yeah.
Let me know, brother. Get back there and start turning up that keyboard.
Get out your old Jeffro Bodine and do some ciphering there and share it with us.
That's Justin Williams. He was there it is. There we go. We'll pull it up. So the $7 a ton hauling 40 ton, I make $1,500 a night on 5 loads.
The hell's wrong with that?
There ain't nothing wrong with that.
No, I mean,
if you're making $1,500 a night and you do it for 5 nights, you're banking. You're banking really good.
If I was you, I'd be real quiet about that, keeping to myself.
And he runs out of he's in Missouri. I just give it that part. I ain't telling you. Yeah, he's over there in, as he calls it, Missouri.
Missouri. My dad used to call it the state of misery.
Yep.
Because them old DOT boys over there, every time we got over there back in the day, they would tear our ass up. Every time. Oh, they were bad. They were bad as Virginia back then.
Wow.
$11 hauling, 110 out of 4 loads. I make $1,200. Still nothing to sneeze at.
No, it ain't.
And you're home every day, off on the weekend. What the Hell's
Yeah,
wrong with that?
he's pulling in almost close to $8,000 a week.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah, and then you figure after fuel and everything, he's still pocketing close to $5.
Minimum.
Yeah, minimum $5. Yeah. Roger McDuck says, that's great. I mean, I hear a lot of guys in Arizona say the goal is between 12 and 13 per day. Yeah.
Okay.
That's about where you want to be money
I
wise.
mentioned it. I used to be 2.5, 3 years ago. I was at $1,000 a day, and I thought that was if you're home every night. Okay, that's if you're not sleeping in the truck, eating and sleeping and showering in the truck stop. All that stuff. $1,000 a day. But the past 2 years, if I put it on my page, guys will start telling me what they're getting. And just like Justin here,
Yeah.
It's higher than $1,000 now. It's $1,300 to $1,500.
Yeah.
I mean,
he said after everything, he grossed out $6,000 after fuel. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Justin, you should go out. He gets a percentage. Justin, you should go out and buy it. Even if your wife gets mad, you should go buy a new rod and reel. Okay, let me tell you why. If your wife gets real mad at you for something, go buy a new rod and reel. Okay, your wife will still be pissed off, but you'll have a brand new rod and reel.
He's more into. Well, I just buy more parts for the Cummins.
Buy more parts, more chrome.
Yeah, he could do that. All right, let's see what Mr. Scott Granger's got to say. It's the fuel prices that are hurting everyone.
I agree. You got to know your fuel surcharge, Scott. This week we've got ours set at 81 cents a mile. Now that, sir, is over and above our rate. Okay, it's 81 cents a mile. Take it or leave it. And if enough people will hold their ground on that, that's what it should be paying right now. Okay,
Yeah.
That's just normal. So, and here's the deal, Scott, Lefty. Let me preach just for a minute.
Go ahead.
The federal government sets up the fuel surcharge. If you log on to their website, padd.gov. Okay, log on to that. All right, that will show you what the fuel what they suggest the prices are, and the fuel surcharge should be in every area, 3 areas of the United States. Okay, that's what they do, and they upgrade it every Tuesday, so the price changes every Tuesday. Even though the price of diesel right now is just jumping all over the place, they do it every Tuesday. Okay, so you can log on there, and this is anything over where it starts, where the chart starts, is $1.20 per gallon. Stay with me. Okay, the federal government figures a fuel surcharge per gallon. As truck drivers and trucking company owners, we don't give a shit per gallon. We give a shit per mile, because that's how we get paid. That's where we make our money.
Yeah.
So here's the deal, Scott. Here's the deal. If you're charging your fuel surcharge, okay, like you're supposed to be, at some point during the month, okay, at some point, you're going to hit that rate per gallon mark and start to go over it. That's why a lot of these guys, you'll hear them say, you paid about $1,200 in a day. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, okay? At some point, if you get 5 miles to the gallon, okay, it's like if you get 5 miles to the gallon, you won't hit it as quick. If you get 8 miles to the gallon, you'll hit it quicker, because the government figures it per gallon and you figure it per mile. And that's what you rate your customers. So at some point during the month, you're going to go over that rate per gallon and start adding it to the mile. And that's why you see a lot of these old timers. I like to mention Joe Denny and Sparky Anderson and guys like that. Friends of mine, been around a long time like I have. They sit there and go, yeah, fuel went up to $5. Hell, brother, bring it. They make money on it at a certain point, and they know that. Get yourself educated about that. Do some math on that, because the fuel's not what's hurting you, okay? What's hurting you is you not standing up for what you're supposed to be getting for the fuel. And you're not the only one. You're not the only one. Anyway, That's all my lecture about how fuel surcharge works.
And where to go to look at that?
You go to PADD. It's like Paul Apple Dog
Mhm.
.gov. And
Alright.
it's the Department of Energy, or you can go to DOE, Department of Energy.gov, and it will show you the fuel surcharges. And that's what a lot of the shippers go by. I take that PADD, the most expensive is PADD 1. There's PADD 1, 2, and 3. The most expensive is 1. I take that every week, every Tuesday, and add 10%. That's just me. That's what I do. I mean, you got to get what you got to get, but that's what I figure I got to get.
Yeah, just
And
like
my customers,
said,
if my
like
customers
Justin
say that's too much, gee, Frank, that's too much, I'll go, okay, then I'm gonna have to adjust my rate to make up for it. Either way,
you're still paying it.
yeah, you got to pay.
Yeah,
you got to pay.
And just like Justin says, no, it's like that when trucks are getting ready to get another truck and an end dump to add to the fleet. So he's fixing to add another truck.
Good for you,
Roger McDuck.
I hope you got a good driver, because that's the hardest thing right now. That's
I think his brother's going to go work for him, work with him, because they both are good drivers.
Yeah.
Roger says, "Wow, hang on, jumping all over the place." Roger says, "Biggest problem I see, they are putting drivers against each other to give it to the lowest bid, but nothing's new there." Yes, you're right. They've been doing that for I don't know how many years.
Listen, all these guys, I don't haul lightweight, I haul heavy. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Here's the deal,
Scott does everything.
I don't care.
This is anywhere from 110 to 230,000. That's where Scott ranges in his weight. Yeah, he hauls big cranes.
Here's the thing on my show, I only speak for myself and my show. We don't do politics, and I'm not going to now. But let me just say this. I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican or independent. I don't care what. If you're in this trucking business and we're all in this together, we need to stick together on this shit, guys. It's us. And nobody's helping us. I don't care which party they're from, who they work for, who they like. I don't care who you like. It doesn't matter. Nobody's helping us. We've got to do that.
Yeah. Samantha says, "Hey, Mr. Lefty, it's been a while. Hope you got some sort of good news out there. They're tired of the gloom and doom. Gas prices are just ridiculous, and the average where I live is $4.09. Some other places are cheaper, but it's the grocery prices are ridiculous too. A bag of Lay's potato chips is now $4.09, same price as a gallon of gas at your local Food Lion. So a bag of chips is the same price as gas. Something is just wrong. And I do worry about food, not only for my family, but the entire community. Food banks are going to be busy. Yeah, Samantha, but the food banks, they've already, and this is what's funny, is the farmers have already let us know that they are already going to be running into shortages. They've already said it. And a lot of it's going to be your bread, because right now we do not produce wheat. And that's the problem. We used to be a number one in wheat and grains, but we are not anymore, because we've gotten to the point that we sublet everything out to other countries. And right now, a quarter of it comes from over there in Russia, and another part of it comes from where they're at war. It's really going to come down to a point here soon. You'll start seeing it. They're supposed to be over in Virginia. They're supposed to be taking off the 26 cents government surcharge for fuel per gallon. They're taking that off for about 3 months. So that'll give you a little relief there. They're also trying to get with the grocery stores and take the food tax away from that for a little while. So that'll help you out a little bit there. But it's up to the big companies. The big companies are the ones that are going into this, and they're like, hey, right now prices are up. Might as well make it. The thing is, are they going to bring it back down when prices come down, when things starts to mellow out? Because
they already have oil companies. Oil went down 2 weeks ago. Oil went back down 2 weeks ago. We're still paying $4 for it at the pump.
Yes.
Yeah,
because they're going to
big oil companies just gouging the hell out of you. And that's all it is. That's all it is. I'm a guy, I hate government regulation in any form. I hate it. But I will say this, somebody needs to step in and knock the shit out of those guys. Because if it costs you an extra $1 or $2 to get to the store, and then bread's $1 higher and meat is $1 per round higher and all that because of the trucks having to burn more fuel to get it there, who's driving the inflation? Who is the one causing this problem? Who is it?
It's
Fuel surcharge should be right about 15% and higher regardless. I don't know what that means.
Meaning when you're like on any of your bills, like if you're by the load or whatever, you always add in like towing. Even if you're towing, you always add in the 50. It depends on how high the fuel goes. It could be anywhere from 10 to 15% fuel surcharge. So if you're on $100 bill, you get $15 there for fuel.
My fuel surcharge right now is running around 31.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it for 15.
No, but I'm just giving you a rough estimate.
Yeah,
of
yeah.
And
right now mine's up about 31.
Them politics have ruined policy. Yeah, the policies have ruined our economy by selling out crazy. We don't have produce, wheat, or loaf of sunbeam bread. It is $3.29. Bought some today. It was awful. I hate shopping for food. You need to start getting with your local farmers, your local markets.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Get with them. Quit. The more you buy from the bigger chain, the more it's going to get because they're the ones supplying everywhere. Now, if you get with your local markets, your local bread companies, things can be cheaper. We just found out, like I'm sitting there watching, they're waiting for the bill to get approved, but I think it should be this week that we are actually now, Tennessee will have its own meat processing factory here in Tennessee because the farmers and the ranchers got tired of saying, hey, we're having to pay anywhere from 28 cents a pound to 35 cents a pound to have our product shipped to another state, to have it butchered and then processed and then shipped back to us. So, you're getting double. That's where your dollar and whatever extra is coming back on per pound. And this is what they're talking about. That is finally got with the government and said, hey, Tennessee, we need to sit here and have a processing plant here so we're not having to send it out of state. Put people to work, keep the food in state, and be able to make money.
Buddy of mine here, same philosophy, basically.
Yeah.
Same philosophy. He buys and sells a whole lot of wood, and he puts up these metal sheds for people which take a lot of wood too. Buying and selling, buying and selling, buying and selling. And he got to doing a little figuring on it with the price of wood and the transportation to get here. So he did a little figuring. Well, guess what he did? He built himself a sawmill.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, yeah, I'm building this sawmill. I get my money back in 14 months. A year and 2 months, sawmill pays for itself. And then he's making money.
Yeah.
And the price of wood goes down.
Yeah, and he gets his own wood too. You don't have to worry about it. Because he can do whatever he sells, let's say 3 trees for a job, he can sit there and that would pay for him to be able to do 2 logs of his own.
Yeah.
The customer paid for him to be able to have that machine and be able to use it. Let's see. Justin says, fuel right now in St. Louis at the Road Ranger is $4.80, but the app I use can get it down to $4.50. So you save 30 cents a gallon if you're using your apps like Gas Buddy and Mud Flap and stuff like that. You can actually get better deal on your fuel. But like I said, like you said, it pays to shop around and make sure you get the best price. Same thing with brokers. Make sure you shop around. You don't want to get stuck with just any old load. Roger McDuck says, someone's got to pay back all these stimulus checks given out. The U.S. isn't in the business of giving money. Sorry, not sorry. Yeah, you're right. We're the ones that's going to be eating this. And that's no lie. Samantha says, that's what we plan on doing. Thank goodness my community is big on agriculture, and I have a lot to learn. I'm telling you, you better learn now because things can get worse and they can get better. It all depends on how they want to fluctuate it with the war overseas right now. Because if things decide to change, or if China decides to go in another direction, yeah, you can start seeing a lot of things disappearing and things going on.
This war in Ukraine's not going anywhere.
No, it's staying right where it's
It'll
at.
be right there where it's at.
Yep.
It's not going anywhere.
No.
Hey, Charles, thanks for having me, man. I got to bounce.
Hey, I appreciate you coming in, and
I really, and
you know
you're welcome over at my place anytime. You know that.
Yes, sir.
But I hope I helped a little bit and didn't make too many of you people mad.
No, I mean, we got a lot of comments and we got a lot of people that were inputting, and with your input, this is why I wanted you on, and so this was in your wheelhouse. That's
Cool.
why I said, here, there's a topic. Let's get it started.
Yeah.
And I'm from Florida, and I know what that was, and I know you talked about being from Florida when you did getting your broker and all that started with your dad. And I said, you know what? This is a perfect person to have on. So
thank you, man.
I appreciate you coming in and actually joining us. And
man, I love it. I always love hanging out with you. I got to do it more.
Yeah, and I'm planning on trying to make a trip that way towards you here soon. So
let me know.
If I do,
you know where we're at. That's the difference between you and me. You know exactly where I'm at. And listen, when you come, don't bring no damn crazy people.
Oh no, it'd be just me. It'd be just me. It'd be me and maybe some steaks or some hamburgers or something. We'll have a barbecue.
We'll fire the grill up.
That works for me.
Thank you, man.
Yes, sir. You have a good night.
You too,
and I'll see you on Tuesday.
All right, bye.
Later. Let me get back over here. That's what we are. All right, so we got that done. Mr. Roger McDuck says, I'm telling you, Frank G is actually a really good guy. He knows his stuff from in and out. He might irritate you, he might piss you off, but the man knows what he's talking about, and he knows the ins and outs. But he don't like sugarcoating anything. And I try not to sugarcoat anything that I do here, because I want you guys to understand flat out, this is what we are. It's about the lifestyle of trucking, and it's from transporting, how you're doing in the truck, what you're doing with your truck, to what's going on with trucking, because it all affects you, every single bit of it, of the lifestyle. You might start seeing a change here lately. You might start seeing left lane with lefty. It may have a little bit of a change. It's going to be more into the lifestyle of the trucking instead of just being in the left lane. It's going to be the lifestyle. And we've got some things working out. We got some things coming out. Like I said, you can start seeing the green screens working. You got to play with it a little bit better. But hey, it's been really good tonight. I ain't had no issues. Roger McDuck says, I stockpiled flour, sugar, and I've been preparing for this for a few years now. Hey, it's a smart way of doing it. It is a smart way of doing things. It really is. We've been doing it here with canned goods and that for the last probably 5 or 6 years. Mama canned. I probably got half a building out there full of canned tomatoes, okra, squash, zucchini, collard greens, beans. We got, and we keep it stocked up. And I don't want to hear it, old timer. What do you mean you call them BS? What do you call them BS? Oh, is that what you're saying? It's your bedtime? Oh, okay. You forgot to add the T, not the S. Even though I know they're somewhere close to each other over there on that phone of yours. But I love you, Scott. I sent you a thing. You could have come in and joined, but I know Scott Granger's too good for us. Him and them heavy haulers. Just playing. Love you, Scott. All right, guys. Let's see. I will be in Greenville, Tennessee tomorrow. All right, let me know what time, because I believe I'm going to. I gotta catch up with Dyer Trucking, and if you're watching there, Steve Holderman, which is Joker's Wild, he likes to watch my show, and he's a big fan of Troy Massey's Trucking with Troy, and ain't nothing wrong with it, because I love Troy to death. Troy is good people. Troy, Steve, so is Half Take, which is Tim. They're all good people, really friendly, great, down to earth people. May not sound like it, but they are good people. They really are. I hung out with them most of the week, here and there on different things. I'll be loading across from the yard at ETI tomorrow. All right. I know exactly where you'll be. Yep. I know exactly where you'll be. I got to be heading probably to Knoxville in the morning. I got parts I got to take back for I think it's a damn torque converter that exploded. I got to take it back. So I'll be doing that tomorrow. Scott Granger says, whenever. Roger says, we'll send you some of that pickled okra out here, buddy boy. Yeah, if you want some, I'll send you some. You know how to hit me up. I believe you still have my phone number, so you got me, Roger. You got my phone number. You know you can call me. And if you forgot it, just look on Left Lane with Lefty. Info has Left Lane with Lefty email. It has the phone number, you know, and that's where you can find me. Trust me, I've been busy. Let's see what Samantha says. Samantha says, it's been good checking in. Did you all talk about the investment at Walmart starting with truckers? No, we didn't get into that far. And they are starting out with at 91,000 first-year driver to start out. If you start with them as a first-year driver, from 91,000 to 115, not 110. And it's 115 salary for a year. Wish I could have my CDL in a truck. Yeah. If you could, I'm just saying. And that's for a first-time driver for Walmart. And if you want to go to work for Walmart, they are desperate looking for drivers. Yes, they are. Yeah, they're starting out at 91,000 to 115. First time for a first-time Walmart driver, first year. And that is your salary. That's what you get after taxes and everything else is anywhere from 91 to 115, depending on your skill level. And I believe if you got a couple of years or more on your belt, you're more in between the 10 and 15 range. Yep. Man, I got Father Time in here twice. Why is he in here twice? Wait, not into. I guess he's gonna pop in, maybe. All right, Mr. Roger Duck. Yep, you know me. If you got it, I'll send it to you. We'll get you some good stuff. Yeah, and that's what it is. They're doing something good there too. Walmart's trying to find drivers because of everything that was going on. We sat there and where I was at Matt's, where I was at there with Shelly at Trucks with Room to Spare, which I do have her logos and that sitting on my truck, and I will say Trucks with Room to Spare right there. Yep, Trucks with Room to Spare. We were sitting there with her doing our interview and everything, and cross diagonal from her was Walmart. They actually had one of the trucks in there. They probably had 15 people in there trying to recruit drivers, and they were talking about the 91,000 to 100,000 at the time, and they were trying to get them to talk about it. So yeah, there's a lot of other opportunities that are coming out. There's another company, I think at the end of the month, that's fixing to make a surprise on what they're willing to pay. And I'm just saying, it's something that you all might want to be paying attention to. It's going to be coming, and y'all are going to be shocked what they're going to be offering and who it is. Just saying. Oh, What's up there, Father Time?
Well, I figured I better say something to you before you keep whining and crying.
I ain't whining and crying.
Mm-hmm.
What am I whining and crying about? What, you didn't pop in after I sent you a link?
Dude, I can't help it. I've been busy. I've been fighting internet connection.
Oh, I know you have.
Then why are you whining?
I ain't whining.
Well,
You're the one that keeps whining at me. You never send me a link. You never send me a link.
how you doing?
Here, fucker.
Hey, watch your mouth. You on the air.
I am. It's right there.
Smart ass.
Doesn't it look good? Yep. Oh, Glenn says old folks up late. Huh. Yeah, especially on a Sunday. Yeah, it's on a Sunday. He's been fighting them eyelids trying to stay awake.
He's always trying to fight them eyelids.
No, he's talking about you.
No, not me.
Yeah, he's saying you're trying to fight them eyelids, trying to keep awake.
Nope, never.
Well, Bull 69XX1. I'll keep my 100K a year driving my Pete. Yeah. And here's what the funny thing is. A lot of people don't realize. Did you know if you work for Walmart, you work a week, you're off a week? Yeah. You're out. Let's say if you start out tomorrow, you work all week, you get home Sunday, you don't go back out until the following Sunday.
Yeah, but what people don't understand about that, Charles, is I got people that I know that tried to go to Walmart.
Yeah.
And they do not get their own truck. They slip seat trucks.
Yeah, they slip seat them. Yeah, until you've been there for a certain amount of years. And then you get your own truck.
Yep.
And that's your truck. But I don't know what the deal is. It may be different now because they're fighting trying to get drivers and they're willing to bump the pay up like they are. And it might be.
That's because they're getting
what's the catch? Those sound too good to be true. No, there ain't no catch. I'm just saying. I got some inside information from somebody, and like I said, there might be something that might be popping up, and you ain't gonna believe what they're gonna be paying because they're trying to get drivers and they're trying to keep drivers because when you find out what company it is, you're all gonna be shocked and what they're paying. Yeah, I'm just saying. But I won't know until the end of the month when they go to make an announcement.
Well, I want to say something.
Hold on. Glenn says it's been since 2 a.m. Those lids won't be open much longer. Got to get back up at 3 tomorrow. All right, Glenn.
Wah. He's crying.
Hey, and your brother-in-law's got a nice looking Peterbilt. Just saying, that Peterbilt he was driving today, that was pretty sweet. Just saying, Glenn. I'm not saying your Volvo ain't good looking either, because I got plenty of videos on it too. Let's see. Does it require you being vaxxed?
No.
Not that I know of. Not that I know of.
No, not that. No, I don't think so.
No. Joe says we need to make all the money we can before automation. Yep. And that's coming soon too. And they are pushing it. They have now gotten a few of them up to 700 miles. That is not releasing it yet, but they've gotten a couple of trucks, and you all probably know who they are, but they've gotten their trucks up to 700 miles on a single charge. And yeah, they are working on it.
But they won't run in the wintertime.
Nope. But as Glenn says, no vax, just wax. Yeah, we know. We can tell. Just put a little mop of glow up there, Glenn. We don't want it to be shining too bright in that white Peterbilt.
Hey, don't tell the old timers secrets. Don't tell old timers secrets. No. But no, I'm going to say something, Charles. I'm going to say something what Frank said a while ago about 31% fuel charge. That's BS.
It's $31. It's basically what he's working out because
Well,
he's doing mileage. But he's charging his people when he's doing his loads. His fuel surcharge is 81 cents a mile on top of their rate. And that's their fuel surcharge.
that's with surcharge. He's getting 81 cents a mile that he's charging the trucks.
Yeah,
The trucks are making 81 cents a mile. You cannot survive off of that.
No. Truck is getting 81 cents a mile just for fuel surcharge. Then the trucks are getting their regular rate, what they're getting paid per mile. But on top of what they're getting paid, he's charging 81 cents for a fuel surcharge. Samantha says, I'm just a guest of Volvo. Laugh out loud. No, we pick on Glenn because he keeps telling us he drives nothing but a Volvo, but he's actually got that cream colored and red oranges looking frame, flat top Peterbilt 379 with his little 14-inch steel chain steering wheel in it. But he drives a little Peter car. Yeah. But the man owns trucks and he's got brokers, but he's also got contracts with Coca-Cola and a few other places. So just saying.
The average percent that everybody charges is anywhere between 15, 17 to 20, and that's it. That's it. And you make money that way. You don't gouge your customers.
Yeah.
I've been in this too long. I'm sorry.
I know you have.
No. I really don't believe, I don't believe that. I can't. As many years as I've been doing this, but I don't haul cheap shit either.
No. You don't haul cheap shit and you don't haul nothing light neither.
No. These guys.
The only time you do is the bobtail.
Well, these guys, they think they getting, they think 7-8 miles is good at a gallon. Well, that's good. I get, if I'm loaded, I get anywhere from 1.5 miles to 2.5 miles, maybe 3 if I'm lucky.
Yeah.
That's just like like that trip to El Paso, I filled up twice in one day.
Yeah.
Because I don't get the fuel mileage.
Yeah, but what were you running? What was your weight?
180.
Yeah, 180,000 pounds. Yeah.
Wait, I was 100. No, I'm sorry. I was 100 and see. What? No, it was about 140, 145,000. But when you got something on that wind drag that catches wind, Glenn Calais knows what I'm talking about. A lot of these guys that haul step, flat, low, they know exactly what I'm talking about. So no, I don't believe that. Sorry.
Hey, Frank sat there and says, laugh out loud, always that guy. I have my billings and my books. My door is always open. I did 22 million last year. Come on by.
Bullshit. I'm saying bullshit on live air. That's bullshit. There is no way in hell that a company made in 1 year $22 million hauling dry freight. Bullshit. I got 39 years into this. There is no freaking way. No way. when I know a man that makes maybe $2 or $3 million a year, and he's got 15 trucks or 10 trucks, and you know who I'm talking about, Charles, and we're not going to say who.
No, but he made more than that. He made more than 2 to 3 million.
Not $22 million. I'm sorry. No,
Last year
no.
he made close to 10. So yeah,
No. That's bullshit. Sorry. You ain't gonna bluff shit over me. And I'm not gonna let somebody bluff shit over people. That ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen. I call it bullshit. People can do this all they want.
He says his door is open and the books are there. You want to come by, he'll show you his books for the last 4 years. Bring your pocketbook.
No. He said $22 million last year. Yeah. There's no way. Now, if he's claiming that on his trucks, bullshit. Now, if he's calling on his brokerage, maybe. But not trucks. No, sorry. No. I've never seen a company do $22 million in 1 year. If it is, everybody would freaking do it.
22 million gross. And he goes, I have for the past 4 years. Bring your pocketbook and I'll show you.
Yeah, whatever.
He's got his books. He'll open up.
Whatever.
No, I mean, there's people out there that can do this.
Whatever. No, I don't believe that. Sorry, Charles. I don't mean to stir up a hornet's nest, but no, I don't believe that.
Glenn says I did $22 yesterday. Glenn, you're funny.
Hell, Glenn, I did 22 cents yesterday, so we're doing good, brother.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I grant what I do, I make good money, don't get me wrong. I had 5 trucks.
Yeah.
And this was back in the 90s when the fuel price wasn't high. And there ain't no fucking way that I did $22 million in 4 years when I had them. Because you're not going to do it with trucks. There is no freaking way. I'm sorry. That is not going to happen.
Frank says, put up or shut up. You call
me. I ain't shutting up. He can kiss my ass.
Hold on. Listen to what he's got to say. Put up or shut up. You called me out. Bring it. Bet me $500 if you have it.
No. He ain't going to scam me like he does his people. If this is the same person we talk about that we knew somebody drove, he's got junk for trucks and don't take care of his people, he might do that well on brokerage because they're not driving his trash. So I don't give a fuck who he is, but you're not going to do $22 million a year.
All right, hold on. Since you don't want to stop and listen. That person that was driving wasn't his trucks, wasn't his company. So, just to get that straight, that wasn't his company, that wasn't his trucks. All right? So, on that part, this man builds custom trucks and builds trucks. He does not sit there and do all that other. I'm just saying. Glenn says, going to try to like you, Scott, tomorrow. Got to move a 60,000 reel, 11 foot wide.
Oh, you can do it, baby. Just get after it, brother. You hauling that good freight.
And Samantha says, I sense some tension. You rock through love truckers, and big thanks to y'all. Not a problem, Samantha. We love you. I'm glad to see you back here. I'm going back into doing the shows, and we're going to be doing them every weekend. It's just I had to deal with the truck show, get things going on there. I've been getting phone calls, trying to set up other things to get things in the works. I will be working on shirts. I will be working on shirts and stuff to be putting out there. If so, and we can get them done, I will say you'll probably be able to go over to Big Rig
$2 million a
Tees
year.
and be able to get them from there. And that's the way that will be. And Frank G says, no tension here, none. It's a done deal. So we'll leave it at that.
Whatever.
Glenn says, third one in 2 weeks, moved 180 miles for $4,000.
That's good money, Glenn. That's good money. Damn good money.
Samantha said, whatever happened in DC? Are they still there? And the media didn't cover them as much as what I can see. No, they made another trip. They are now back in California. They're going out there to protest the new laws that they're trying to implement out there in California with the vax, the mask, and all that. As soon as they get done with that, they'll be there for a couple of weeks. And then, from what I understand, they're turning around and coming back to D.C. So be looking for them. They'll be coming back through again. There is other convoys that are coming out. They're doing their trips, making their rounds. They will be doing their thing. So just to let you know on that there, Samantha. Yes, very nice. Yep. And that's what they're doing. They're making their rounds back and forth because they got out of DC because DC had all the roads blocked, wouldn't let them go into DC. They only let them on the bypass. There was a whole bunch of different things going on, but they will be back. They're not stopping. Glenn, waste of all that fuel for nothing to happen. Well, they were showing them that they were standing together, united, just like what was going on in Canada. Glenn. Well, I hate to do this, but I got to cut it short because there's something calling, and I have to go do it. Unless you want to sit here and talk for a minute or two, but that's going to be a little while. So,
what are you saying?
I'm saying I need to get off of here so I can go take care of business. Yeah.
You got to go give a lefty?
Yeah, something like that.
Well,
you know.
Go ahead and close it out. Put me in the back room a minute.
All right, I can do that.
Everybody have a good night.
All right, everybody. Glenn, I will see you later. Him's got the shit. No, I don't have to do that. You're funny, Glenn. You are super funny. Ha, ha, ha. Samantha's laughing. Y'all have a nice night. Nice chatting with you. Yes, Samantha, we loved you coming by and everybody that stopped in and was here for the chat and the conversation because this has been a really good topic tonight, and it really has. We'll have more. Glenn, I will holler at you tomorrow. I think you have my phone number, so get a chance, give me a shout. On that note, I love you guys. Be safe. Be careful out there. Keep the sunny side up. Don't do anything that Scott wouldn't do, which ain't much, but just saying. And we are, and I want to thank my sponsors, Diesel Life, and I also want to sit there and thank Bullsnot for the support and everything that they've been giving us. We love you guys, and we want to take care of you, and we'll see you later.
Truck drivers don't talk about how hard it is to walk out the front door, knowing it could be weeks before we see our families again, or how we promise our kids we'll be back when we know there's a chance that we may not. Calling up an old friend to talk about old times, but all they want to talk about is last weekend when you were 1,000 miles away. Working a long 14-hour day,